So, dear all, I would like to welcome you to IPOINT's innovative webinar with our partner Ramboll. Today we will discuss how Ramboll bridges the gap between LCA and safety, overcomes methodological hurdles, and efficiently scales sustainability efforts. I'm Pauline Langbeen. I'm a junior product manager at IPOINT for our IPOINT product sustainability software with its expert tool Umberto. And we will start with the housekeeping rules. So the webinar will take about 30 minutes and it will be recorded to make it available to you afterwards. The audience is muted, but you have the opportunity to ask questions in the chat. We will have a short Q&A afterwards, but if the time will run out, we will make the answers available to you via mail. So I would like to give you a quick overview about IPOINT. So IPOINT brings together expertise and data for compliance and sustainability, and is using digitalization and automation to enable you to build up, speed up, and enhance your data collection, analysis, and reporting capabilities, empowering you to make informed data-driven decisions. We have more than 25 years of experience in those fields and have more than 80,000 users in more than 120 countries. Ramboll is one of our 15 partners, and we have Grow as our financial partner. So when you see the next slide, you can see some of our customers, which are mainly situated in the automotive, electronic, and manufacturing industries. So now I would like to welcome Basti and Rudi from Ramboll. Hello, please introduce yourself and also tell us a little bit about Ramboll.
Thank you very much, Pauline, and thanks for inviting us to have you here. So you probably missed, so you know, one of the preferred partners. we like working with IPOINT a lot, and so it's a very nice idea to have this kind of talk, which shall be a bit less formal than the typical webinars, so I like this. Ramboll is quite a large corporation, over 18,000 employees, but this spans over diverse services which tackle everyone's life, from building to transport, water, energy, and Basti and myself, we sit in the Ramboll Environment and Health department, which has over 3,000 employees globally. So it's quite a substantial part of Ramboll business. We work in over 35 countries, but do projects more or less in most countries of the world, wherever our clients need us. And the best thing about Ramboll is that it's a foundation owned. So Professor Ramboll, who founded the company in 1945, when he retired, put all his wealth into a foundation who now owns 89% of the company. 2% are in the membership of the employees. So everyone who wants to buy a stake in the company can do so. Conscious of time, if there are questions about Ramboll, let us know. But I think we want to make time to discuss about safety and sustainability. So myself, I'm within our product safety and stewardship team, the global lead for chemicals. I'm based in Frankfurt, Germany. I pass over to Basti.
Thank you, Rudi. I'm Bastian Wittstock. I'm also located in Ramboll, Germany, and my role is that of what we call technical director decarbonization, and part of that is that I'm steering our lifecycle assessment activities on a global scale. We have LCA practitioners in 9 countries using the IPOINT software. This is part of our partnership, and we do our LCA services in a consistent way across the different industries and topics.
Thank you. Let's dive directly into it. Rudi, can you maybe give us a quick overview? What are the challenges you are currently facing regulatory-wise, and why do you see the need that departments need to work together?
Right. And I think we prepared a slide, which we may already zoom in now, visualizing this ever more integrating and evolving regulatory landscape of product safety, but also product sustainability topics. So we tried to bring it in a sort of natural flow, and to demystify a bit, or just to visualize the complexity. So Pauline or Natalie, if you can share the slide, the first slide. As ourselves, we got somehow lost in what all our colleagues doing. I thought how to recall and how to keep an overview, and then we designed it this way. So there, if you have the like a case study, you want to set up a new sustainable business, what do you need to comply on the regulatory side? And this would be like a taxonomy describing to what extent your activities align with a taxonomy, and whether it's classified as a sustainable business or not. Most challenging part, for sure, the supply chain, training your suppliers in what you need as a confirmation that the products comply with, like CSDDD standards, deforestation regulation, conflict minerals, CBAM, forced labor, a lot of momentum in there. And there's a little text box under taxonomy saying taxonomy, CSDDD, CSRD are now tried to be aggregated in the omnibus regulation, omnibus proposals. When we started speaking about this webinar, we thought they would already be published, but now it's a bit pushed back towards somewhen within Q1 and not end of February as initially planned. So it will be March. Life shall be easier, but we doubt the fundamental requirements will disappear. So coming to the tox-free environment world, the core part of product safety, the global framework on chemicals, REACH, CLP, POP, F-gas, RoHS, now the recast of the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive, Single-Use Plastic Industrial Emission Directive. All this needs to be considered, mainly for operations, product design, and now the last big wave was on circularity topics, with an ongoing evolution of like ELV, battery. Basti will tell a bit about the norms currently compiled to map which parameters need to be reported. ESPR also a bit reduced in scope or delayed. So the first forum meeting took place last week. So the first prior product groups are likely to be textiles, which includes like automotive textiles, technical textiles, furniture, and steel, aluminium, and tires, most prominently. So with a digital passport coming, equally like delegated act under battery. So a lot of momentum in this field. Then towards the labeling, what do you put on the product? The Green Claims Directive is still threatening a lot. Again, the digital product passport as the information to be provided to the consumers, customers, eco-label. And finally, the reporting stage, when you provide an overview of all your activities and let your investor or the interested public know where your operation stands in terms of sustainability. And sorry, that was a long intro, and I'll be speaking much less in a minute. Maybe if you move to the next slide to also show what was Ramboll's journey. We as all operating businesses, we have been operating out of teams. We had the product safety and stewardship team, doing reach work, doing authorization work, supporting on restriction proposals. And then we saw, well, our colleagues from the circularity team, from the lifecycle team, say deal with the same clients, and on the neighboring topics, and say, well, we should not only advise our clients to cooperate more closely, but need to do the same. So we formed teams who are active in all these different phases, from the design of a chemical to operation to assessing the footprints and doing the life cycle assessment to finally into the circularity part of recycling and reusing. So when you approached us, said, would you be interested in a call? I said, well, I can for sure not do it myself alone, but need to have someone from the circularity team. As the project, the topics are so wide and diverse that there's not one person able to have at least a decent background and manage or stay on top for all of them.
Yes.
We did a webinar series internally to upskill each other on what is happening on the regulatory side, only in the EU, and we called it Fit for 55. So for the EU's kind of green regulatory push, and it was more than 20 webinars which we needed to cover the different topics. And when you take a filter of LCA on all of this, then there's one very big paradigm change happening right now, or about to happen now, which is LCA was a niche topic, very scientific, very expert heavy. The methodology was always very flexible to account for a certain situation and for a certain question. And now this is becoming regulated, and LCA is becoming part of the regulatory requirements for different product categories. The first product category probably is the batteries with the EU battery regulation, and the second one will be building products. But with the ESPR, Rudi mentioned it, it will become relevant for all products that are marketed in the EU. And that means that you have to bring together this scientific topic of LCA with the regulatory understanding of how companies, or let's say with the understanding of how companies operate, regulatory requirements and their compliance. And this is where our teams can do really well in working together, because if we're able to organize internally between our regulatory experts with a strong focus on the materials used in products and the LCA perspective with the understanding of how to quantify the environmental impact of a product, then this is so much better in helping clients to navigate these topics and to bring them together, especially as we see that LCA is really moving into the compliance offices on the side of our clients.
Yeah, that's true. We sustainability becomes some sort of a compliance aspect. So departments need to work more closely in the future. So what do you think? What which benefits do you see in closer collaboration of departments, and yeah, how to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a start. With some supporting a number of clients in getting guidelines out how to cooperate, and what started as some planned 3 workshops ended up in many more follow-up meetings, and it was a true pleasure to see all these different departments to engaging with each other, and understanding what are first the regulatory needs, and who feels responsible for what, and what data is needed inside the company: procurement, legal, operations, chemical compliance, product safety, EHS. I mean, they all need to come together and speak. We have companies where you get strong leaders, be it in the sustainability team, be it out of EHS, who really push for this orchestration of topics and get a roadmap compiled, and others are still a bit reluctant, and often regulatory people have too much on their plate anyhow, so that they don't want to take an active lead, but they would be the most knowledgeable ones. Or R&D. I mean, we see one instance where the CFO with a CSRD report said is substance of concern, a topic for us, I doubt, and then the product safety person said half of our products contain SOC. For good reason, they are high performance materials, and we can only provide the good quality if we have these components, but we need to think, can they be substituted or not? So we need to start the journey, and then they actively engaged with the R&D department, who have been mainly staying outside, and said we need the freedom to look for any chemical. The product quality is a most important goal, but if then the final product is going to be restricted, there's no win in it. So people need to integrate and speak to each other.
And I would add, in the end of the day, it's a couple of, I think, very simple things that matter. It is very similar data, and the data flows are the same or very similar. Product manufacturers, most product manufacturers make products out of a set of raw materials or precursors or supplied components, and they need to get information from the suppliers. They need to get the information on what is in the product, and they need to get the information on what is the environmental performance of the product. And it's only a natural thing to ask the same question once and not twice from different people. And a product manufacturer in the continued development of products, and so really in the product development, essentially they have, apart from providing the right products, they need to decarbonize their product portfolio, they need to make it circular, and they need to make it, let's say, free of adverse impacts, like toxic free. And so the product development, they have one task. It's not 3 tasks, it's one task, and they need to account for those different objectives in parallel, because they are asked to, they are required to. And so it's a natural thing that you don't ask the same question a couple of times, and you don't give the same objectives in 3 different ways to those who need to develop the next product, but really bring it together and make it one.
Yeah. When we think of
just maybe I recall a conversation with an Indian gentleman from a large Indian chemical manufacturer, and he said, well, of course, those products who will be supplied to the European markets, we know exactly what's in there. For the local market, we care less. So, I mean, we do have the highest standards, which is very challenging, especially in times now where cost and competitiveness is key. Everyone knows, especially the automotive industry is suffering tremendously, but I doubt the topic will go away entirely. When we see like the consultation on the PFAS restriction, there will be certain trade-offs, but like the expected entire exemption for fluoropolymers, I don't see it. So maybe less prominent, but I would advise to all companies to further pursue the topic and stay on top and see what can be done with less money available.
Yeah, and when we now see also, the complexity of LCA methodologies, how do we get that in? How do we get this knowledge or across departments and collaborate successfully? And also, how do you keep up with these complex methodologies depending on certain industries you are in?
I guess you have to stay ahead of the wave. And I mentioned before that LCA is coming from a very scientific approach. It still is. And there's, I would estimate, about 100 different implementations of LCA and product carbon footprint methodologies in different industries on different purposes, scopes, use cases, whatsoever. And that means the first thing when we talk with clients is to understand what is their client base and what is their supply chain. So what are the data they can get and what are the data they need to deliver? Maybe if someone is lucky and it just works into one industry, it's just one methodology, but sometimes companies have to supply into different industries, and so they have to deliver different types of numbers, and we help them manage this and steer this. On the other side, we're active in standardization in industry fora, where we help to advise how to formulate the technical requirements for regulation, for instance, and where we participate in the technical advisory board for what is called the product environmental footprint, to make sure we can give in our perspective how to simplify and how to make it feasible, but also where we know what is coming and what is happening.
Yeah,
this is what we can bring onto the table. LCA is and will stay a topic for subject matter experts, even though you cannot do it as a manual scientific research work in the future, but you have to use software solutions to facilitate the fast calculation of LCA results, because you need it for so many products that it's not an expert level work only.
No, I think initially an LCA expert is needed for building up models, but in the end, when having some sort of framework, you can scale it. This also comes to my next question, like, how do we scale? How can companies efficiently scale up the LCA processes and engage also different stakeholders?
In the end of the day, you need to understand and manage the data flows. It's LCA is, on the one side, it is this scientific topic, how to understand how to work with the methodology, how to do the calculations in the right way. Then the second part is what we talked about, is bringing together and making sure LCA sits at the right place from a strategic perspective in the operations of an organization. It shouldn't be an isolated satellite somewhere, because it really has a solid impact and implications with a lot of different stakeholders within the company and outside the company. And then if you take a software solution to implement the LCA calculation process and to automate this LCA calculation process, you need to make sure the data flow goes through. There's one slide which we brought with us. If you can show this.
Yes.
Under inventory, this is essentially the information that a company has. What is in a product? How do products compose? What are the tangible differences between different versions of products, for instance. In the middle part under calculation, we use the software from IPOINT called Product Sustainability that helps to organize the calculation based on the LCA models that the experts have built up. So you bring in the expert knowledge there, and then you streamline the calculations going through the system. And from the results, you need to prepare them in a way that they are able to deliver into different reporting formats and different requirements. This can be everything from product development and helping product design, all the way to carbon footprint delivering into IMDS, for instance, or if you look into the construction industry predominantly, but not only. It can be environmental product declarations, which is a standardized format to publish LCA results. And then going forward in the next step, the ESPR and also the construction products regulation show, together with the battery regulation, so essentially it's all of the EU regulatory work that says we will need a digital product passport. And this digital product passport will require to have LCA data in. So it is becoming an obligation to document the LCA calculations in a standardized way anyways. And I would always recommend to start this journey early, because it's not a very easy task to do. It's nothing that happens on Friday afternoons, but you need to make sure that the data on the manufacturer side is right, that the supplier information comes in at the right place, in the right shape, in the right format, and this process from left to right needs to be worked through and needs to be handled. And you do need the experts who can help you implement the system. Depending on the complexity on the right side, on how you need to declare, it's getting more or a bit less complex, but you need expertise at some place as a manufacturer. And there is a risk if manufacturers wait too long, there will be no experts available to help them, because at some point, I think this is a story that Rudi keeps telling. The feedback we get from large product manufacturers is LCA expertise is one of the main bottlenecks going forward.
Yeah, quite attractive companies having job adverts and nobody applied. Yeah, so they train their own staff, but then for this you need to have someone train them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem, unfortunately, that we also see. So coming to the end of the webinar and looking at cross-departmental work, do you have a solution to enhance it, to find, or to work together in a good way?
It sounds probably very simple, but initially talk. If you haven't done so, and align on the needs. So first internally talk, then talk to your suppliers. I mean, the automotive industry is probably the most advanced with the IMDS use, but this also extend then to all the operational fluids using packaging material and auxiliary chemicals you use. So, I mean, the ideal world would be a fully transparent product used in all your operations, which is bound to a lot of effort. And I would think if now the regulators bring it down to a reasonable level, it will be helpful for everyone. But this level needs to be delivered, and therefore you need to have a team in place who can work on this.
So somehow also someone who is empowered.
Yeah, and very simply make cross-cutting teams, build cross-cutting teams. You've seen the complexity of topics. It's a multidisciplinary approach, and it needs multidisciplinary expertise. When we come into companies discussing about lifecycle assessment and product stewardship, we have a lot of departments sitting on the table. It's not just one or two stakeholders, but it's most of the organization who's somehow involved in the discussion with us. So why not take this as an opportunity and form interdisciplinary cross-department teams for those topics from the start, and take it as an opportunity, not as a threat.
Thank you. So time is already up. Thank you a lot for your participation and also for your interesting answers. If there are any questions from the audience, I would like you to send them by mail, or if there are any in the chat, we will answer them afterwards. As we now wish you all a pleasant midday meal, lunch. That's also the word for it. So here you can see our contact details, and have a great day.
Same to you. Thanks for having us. Good day to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.